Watching Kyle's unboxing videos again?
Yeah, he always finds the coolest... No way! A robot dog? Gotta ask where he got it.
Or use your Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Just draw a circle around the dog on your screen, and it shows you where to buy it right in the app.
Whoa, I just learned a new trick. And that for once, I beat Kyle to the next big thing.
Circle it, find it with the new Galaxy S24 Ultra and circle the search with Google. Get yours now at Samsung.com. Internet connection required. Results may vary based on visuals.
How was football not taken off during COVID?
You haven't won a trophy. You've won promotion.
I've seen him twice, Timmy Mallet. He opened up the Millgate shopping centre.
Oh, really? This isn't a podcast. Think you'll find. This is a business meeting.
You leave Ryan Reynolds alone. He's been through a lot this season.
Can't wait for them to have to act that out on the charades round of A Question of Sport.
Half-time bullseye, why not?
Or could you win a speedboat? Forgot Les Parry took charge.
I've got a pair of his shorts upstairs somewhere.
Moving on from Steve Evans' next door neighbour's cat and the aforementioned pubes. Right, the Premier League. Do we really want to talk about it? Do we really want to talk about the Premier League?
Okay, let's someone.
We know who's going to be in the right.
It's going to be a 2-horse race who wins.
Let's not talk about the top six because we know that's just boring, right? Let's talk about the real fun stuff. Who's getting relegated and who's going to the Conference League?
Well, we are.
What, Conference League?
I wish.
No, we're getting relegated, aren't we?
Everton's summer transfer window has been dire so far. Well, I say we basically sold one player we didn't really want to sell, and we bought a player who I like, James Tarkowski. I just did. Yeah, he's fine. I had to laugh at Farhad Mashiri's statement saying judges at the end of the summer transfer window. I'm going, that's great, Farhad. Season starts in 2.5 weeks. You might want to get a move on. Honestly, no idea anything could happen. I am worried for us, seriously, because we played one pre-season game, and we've got one today, if memory serves me correctly. We're playing Minnesota United.
Minnesota United, Adrian Heath's team.
And then we've got Blackpool at the weekend, and then we've got Dynamo Kiev on Friday, which we are going to.
Yes.
Because it was 15
quid
for a good cause.
Indeed.
Honestly, no idea. The latest rumours we've had, Billy Gilmore. I like Billy Gilmore. Again, we're so tied by financial fair play, we just can't spend any money. So everything we're going to be buying is going to be loans with viewing to buy, by the sounds of it.
That's what we operate best, though. We have a team
full
of
yeah, we do. Strangely enough, we do. The best season we've had in recent years was all on loans.
Players. It's great.
I honestly don't know. We could be sat here in a month's time, having had the first game of the season, go, say what, we're a decent start here, we beat Chelsea or whatever else. Or we could decide to go, this is going to be a tough season. Based on last season, I didn't have much hopes for last season. My hopes are even lower after last season for this season.
It's
until
like
they do something that really triggers.
Our expectations were low, but holy fuck.
Holy fuck, yeah. It's just been slow, and there's nothing really ever... There was rumours we were getting bought up by Peter Kenyon, of all people, that didn't obviously go through. Then the owners said we're not for sale, when clearly we are, because why would they be chatting with someone about selling the club if they're not for sale? The whole thing just stinks. There's going to be apparently the 27 years campaign are doing stuff, I think, at the weekend to campaign against the owners. So that still hasn't gone. It seems like they tried to hide behind a lot of us staying up last year and will we build for this season? And the signs just aren't there because there's just nothing we can do. We've got no room in the transfer market to really buy in quality players. And if we do, they're getting snapped up by teams who have the money. And I don't blame players going, to other clubs. With Charleston, everyone was saying, why would he go to Spurs? It's Champions League football under Antonio Conte. I'd go to Spurs because they could be a force this season. They might not. It's very Spursy for them to buy a lot of players for some really good money, but not do much with it. But yeah, who knows? But obviously, it's a flip of a coin. At the moment, it really is. It could go what? We could be sat here at Christmas going, you know what? Started well. We could be in the top half, battling maybe for the Conference League in that element as an absolute push, or we could be sat here at bottom of Christmas and it's all falling apart. Who knows? I love
Big question.
Go on, Greg.
Do we think Lewis Warrington will get a chance in the first team? Because by all accounts, Lampard's seems to be speaking quite highly of him. He's been off on the pre-season.
I like him.
I don't know whether he's ready. I'm not saying he is, but it's interesting because a couple of weeks before the end of the season, he was strongly linked to sign with us. But he seems to have gone back to Everton, and he's very much in favour, and rightly so.
I think he'll be out on loan again. I think I can't see him. There's a centre midfield where we need a midfielder. Don't get me wrong, we need a lot of midfielders and that kind of stuff. But I think he'll be out on loan again this season. It's good to see them taking those players out on the tours to the States. I mean, I think the game against Arsenal at the weekend, we basically had the first team play for 45 minutes, and then it was the kids played for the second half, and they did really well. I mean, Arsenal had a pretty much full strength team out, and had already played, I think, 2 more games at that point, which always confuses me why we're only playing our first game now when other teams have played games earlier. That's a really odd. I couldn't work out. Is that just something of Arsenal been really keen, or are we just being really lax about it? That's really the question.
I mean, they avoided playing football the whole of last season, so a couple of weeks in pre-season makes no difference.
Good point, Jack. Good point. I'd not. It would just. FFP. Yeah, it could be that. Well, the Kiev game was announced so last minute. I only bought the tickets last week. That's the last pre-season game. We're only going to play 4 games, I think, and then we played an intra squad friendly, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago? But there's not going to be a lot of football in there before the first game against Chelsea. I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
There's not a lot really to talk about them at the moment. But who else do we think might struggle then in the Premier League? Any other names?
I think Leeds will struggle.
Bournemouth,
yeah, I agree.
Bournemouth will go.
Southampton.
Southampton, yeah, I think so.
I think Southampton are going to struggle. I mean, it's going to be, we're going to get one of these predictions wrong. We're probably going to get them all wrong. But there's something about Southampton that obviously did they get hammered a few times 7-0 last season, or a couple of times? But I don't know. There's nothing about them that thinks I fear them. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing about Southampton.
Have they bought anyone? Because they're not going to sign.
Gavin Bazunu from City.
What was the guy's name? He had on Chelsea.
Played for Rochdale.
Armando Broja. He's back at Chelsea.
Broja.
But no, I have to say, I do admire the Southampton. Again, Twitter admin shithousery is life. And Southampton signing Gavin Bazunu, the Portsmouth player of the season, who was on loan from City, going, welcome to the South Coast. I thought that was good. That was good work. Fair play, Southampton. Well done.
Class. Was it not the day after he got the player of the season or something? Have I made that up? Yeah.
I think he was Portsmouth's player of the season, went back on loan to City and then signed with Southampton. And it was like, welcome to the South Coast, Gavin. So I did enjoy that. I must admit, that's the kind of thing you love to see. That, and they've signed another lad from City who I don't even know who he is. He's some under-19 kid for like 10 million quid. Now, he could be a good prospect, but we never heard of him. So he could be brilliant. He could be well out of his depth. And I do worry for Southampton because they have this thing of they'll win like 8 games in a row and then not win for about 20 games in a row. They're very bizarre on the Ralph Hasenhüttl. And I can see him being one of the first managers to go this season. If they don't start well, which I can't remember their start of the season they've got. But I do worry for South. I say worry. If they go down, it means there's one less place for us to occupy. But, I do worry for Southampton in that respect. But Bournemouth as well.
Thoughts on Fulham?
It's like South Coast, but yeah. I think Fulham's fine.
Fulham? That's interesting. Fulham, I think they'll do all right, Fulham. I think
they've bought quite well. Pereira from United. And then Neco Williams, I think. No, that was the end of the season. Who else they bought? They bought from Sporting, haven't they? Yeah, so I can get mixed up. The guy from Sporting Lisbon. I've got his name. They've got a good side. I think they're going to be like Blackpool when they were up in the Premier League. It's going to be high-scoring games when they play because Silva doesn't mess about. He's not a particularly defensive manager. They could have them play. The biggest loss for them, obviously, is going to be Carvalho going to Liverpool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope there'll be an intriguing watch. There's quite a lot. There's easily a good 6-7 teams who could all feasibly go down. I mean, dark horses for the season. Anyone got any thought of dark horses for teams that will overachieve, I suppose, in the Premier League?
I'm oddly looking forward to see how Crystal Palace do with Patrick Vieira. He got them playing some somewhat good football, and he's managed to attract a few names to some degree. But I think I think that'll be quite interesting. Obviously, you take away the top 8 or whatever. Palace, for me, that I think that's going to be interesting.
I think Newcastle will be up in there again this season. I think they had an excellent end to the season last season. Eddie Howe has done, give him credit, a really good job. It's helped when you can spend the money, but as we've proven, you've got to spend it well. Who have they? I can't remember who they bought. They haven't.
And they've got Matt Target on a permanent, haven't they? And Nick Pope in goal. They've not gone massive, but they've plugged gaps they need to plug, which I think's fair enough.
Yeah.
They've not gone all out. We're going to
Sven
go
Botman is next to one as well.
Sven Botman, sorry, yeah. Botman, Target, and Pope, yeah.
Nick Pope.
No,
they've bought well. Like I said, they're not going mad. They're not going like, let's buy everyone because we can. They just little gaps here and there, build it up slowly but surely. So
that's the way to do it. Because if you think when City first got money, like it took City years to get it right, and the number of players that they were going through 2 squads a season, and it wasn't the players weren't of quality. They just signed too many players too quickly. I think that's exactly the way to do it. A bit of a combination of the talent that you've got there before the money comes in. I think reward them, loyal players. Yeah. Not the players that are going to move away because that's where the money is, but players that have been there and done it for you previously, and then build from there. Same as when you get promoted, you don't replace the whole squad, do you? No. So yeah, as you say, fair play. I think a lot of people thought they just buy the league, but they're not doing that.
They're not doing that. They're going to have to build slowly, aren't they? You've got to get like your Tal Ben Hayims and your Wayne Bridges up there to build your squad to that mid-level. No, seriously, to build that mid-level. Yeah, who? Sorry,
Damien Duff.
Your Alanos.
Damien Duff. When did he sign for Man City? Your Shea Givens and your Benjanis or whoever. To then go on to the real.
Benjani, what a player.
Benjani, 1 season wonder, Benjani and Wari. Club I'm looking forward to watching, Brentford. I think they have, and I mentioned Leeds earlier, Brentford have recruited, I know they've lost Ericsson, which is good for them, but did you really think Ericsson, after his performance last season, was going to stick at Brentford in the nicest way?
No,
but considering now, they brought in the keeper from Lazio, I forgot his name, Strikoicha, Albanian keeper, who I think is really good, and it says something about Brentford, that an international goalkeeper swapped Lazio in Serie A for Brentford.
But they've got the London pull, haven't they? They've got that idea that
the West London pull. They have got the West London pull. They've got the West London pull. If you put, like a Charlton now, must be gutted they're not in the Premier League. Not just because it's but because a London-based club, the money now you can attract any player you bloody well want because you've got the London pull.
100%.
But their most exciting sign for me is Keane Lewis Potter. I wanted him at Everton so much from Hull, and he's gone to Brentford on a 6-year deal, an option for a 7th year. Like, that's a big contract for a young lad. And I think he's a future international. It really is. And it's a weird one because are they going to have second season syndrome or are they just going to kick on and be like really good? And I think if they can get the ball to Tony, as long as they keep him, of course, then I think Brentford will be really like a dark horse for maybe 7th or 8th after this season.
Yeah, I'd like to see them do well.
We've said City. Go on, Greg. Sorry.
Sorry, mate. Yeah. No, we've said before on this, haven't we, that we think they're one of, if not the best run club in the country in terms of recruitment. Bringing youth players through the way that the whole club is run. Not a massive club by any stretch of the imagination, but big enough to kind of self-sustain. And we've said, haven't we, that a lot of other clubs should be basing how they're managed in and around the way that Brentford do. So it would be really, really good to see them have another solid season. Absolutely.
I think the big name for that is that Matthew Benham, who sits on the board, or he's chairman, and he's into the whole stats and that, and he owns or FC Midtjylland over in Denmark, who've currently got Max Meyer in their side now. If you're able to get Max Meyer to the Danish Superliga, former German international, Crystal Palace, Schalke, you're doing something right. I think he's a really good recruiter, and I think he's a really good, owner and what have you. And like you say, they've done it not on like a shoestring budget, but they, as they say, they're a bus stop in Hounslow, and they've done very well for being a bus stop in Hounslow.
Got a lot of time for Brentford.
Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Brentford. Obviously, been in the not the lower leagues, but League 2, League 1, what have you. And obviously, Brighton is another one that have obviously come from League 1, League 2, something like that, and gone all the way up to the top. I get a bit jealous seeing them because I think, bloody hell, if we were a bit more... I'm not saying it's possible, but when you see teams in that ilk that have been in our division for a few years, you think, bloody hell, maybe it is possible. I'm not saying we will do, but that's why I commend them. I quite like watching them. Like, oh, so that's what it would be like.
Yeah, that's very similar to you, Greg. I think I've had that thought a few times, and going back to what we were saying there in the last episode about our potential ground move, I think that's what our owners are now alluding to, that if, you know, the fans have kind of, I know it's not particularly down to the fans, but as a club, they've got to make that decision. Are they going to be a yo-yo League 2, League 1 side, and be happy with that and just have your occasional, not trophy, Matt, but promotion every now and again? Or are they going to go, you know, whole hog and be that self-sustained championship club with, once you're in the mix? I think a lot of teams have proven that it only takes a good season. You know, you get a couple of players in who are of an all right quality, or a couple of kind of diamonds in the rough, and you push for the Prem. So, and if you look at Brentford, you look at what they did there, you know, into a new stadium within the last couple of years, big redevelopments and so on, but they've kept what makes that club very close to those plans, if that makes sense. So it's a gamble, isn't it? And I think once you take that step, you can never go back. You're always going to be that kind of generic club on the back end of a building estate somewhere. But if you do it in the right way, you're going to keep the fans, you're going to bring more fans in, you're going to increase your revenue and so on. So it's a big gamble for clubs. Brentford, to be fair, are probably a similar sized club to us 7, 8, 9 years ago. Rochdale, slightly smaller in terms of crowds and whatnot, but as a club, probably similar to us, and it's that big gamble. But as you say, if it pays off, fantastic. But it's not paid off for a lot of other sides at the same time.
Yeah, they go too big, don't they? And then it's a reliance on the Premier League. If you overspend in the Championship, I say, and you don't get up, or if you overspend when you get into the Premier League and then don't stay up, the parachute payments can only help you so far. I think gone are the days of talking about Newcastle and that kind of stuff. Gone are the days where you're going to see a team buy the league, because I don't think that ever people allow it, like City and Chelsea did, where you can just throw money about. You have to have it in a sustainable way. Everton have proven that recently. You cannot spend big money, or if you do, it has to come good, otherwise you're screwed. And here we are. This is what. And Brentford, again, I like the fact that they're a well-run club, in the fact that they know the limitations. And that sounds cruel. I don't mean it's in a bad way, but they know it's not going to be, we're going to be top four in many times. It'll be a gradual build-up. And I think any smart owner these days of a football club, and I have to admit the Palioses do that at Tranmere, are appreciative of the fact that there's limitations to what we can do at the moment, but give us time, and, you know, with a bit of backing here and there, and it's going to be a few years where you have to be a slow growth. You can achieve that kind of stuff. I mean, I always ask, while I've got the both of you in front of me, Greg and Dec, do you think there is a case where you could, in the right situation, progress like a Brentford did? And if you could, how long do you reckon it would take either of your sides to do so?
I think we certainly could. I mean, going back to the 90s, we were a real force to be reckoned with in the Championship, and I think having 100%. Been there and almost done that in terms of getting into the Prem, there's no reason why that can't happen. Yes, the game's changed a lot, obviously the financial side and whatnot, but the fan base is still there. That's never really gone away. Even when we went non-league, we were still pulling 7,000-8,000 people in a week. And, you know, you look at the Wirral, the population of the Wirral's increasing. You know, we're a fairly kind of well-populated area, and it's just about getting bums on seats. Obviously, at our level now, everything is about getting people through the gate. Move up into League One, similar, but obviously there's a little bit more pull in terms of sponsors, league payments and so on. But when you get into the Championship, whether you're getting 10,000 in through the gate or whether you're selling your stadium out every week, that's not as important. It's the pull of the club, it's the pull of the brand that's on the shirt, and ultimately we are all brands now. We're clubs, and as it's been well publicised, again, going back to what the Palioses have said, and I'm sure, Greg, it's the same at Rochdale. I know, obviously, with ownerships and whatnot at the minute, but the one thing that stays consistent is the fans. So, you know, players, as quoting Palios from the other week, players come and go, kits come and go, owners come and go, but the fans stay the same. And I think a club of our stature, there's no reason why we can't double that fan base. It's not that we haven't got the fan base; they just don't come regularly. We've got quite a big turnaround, and you can look at that with our attendances. We can go from a flat gate to sort of 5,500, but when there's something on it, we can push up to 10, 11,000 without it being a problem. And
it shows I think games coming, isn't it? If you get a Premier League club, and
absolutely,
you've got Spurs, United, etc., double that.
And it's just about getting. I think the main thing for me is if we do push for this to happen, almost a redevelopment of the whole club, and obviously keeping the kind of morals and stuff of the club very close to anything that's being done. To me, you have to be a success. You have to be successful in that moment before a ground move comes in. I know that sounds really daft, but if you're moving to a new start and you struggle, or there's a relegation or whatever, you're completely flawed. You've got to be going in there where you're beating everyone. In a weird way, what they're talking about doing now, if that had have happened, say, 2-3 years ago when the promotions were happening, I think we'd be pushing top end of League One now and possibly even below Championship if the finances had been there. I think not obviously for us to take a step back and go back to non-league, but I think, to be able to do it, we've got to be successful before the big changes happen. What about you, Greg, with Rochdale? What would you think in terms of your situation?
It's interesting because I often look at the teams that haven't quite done it. You look at like Wickham have gone up to the Championship and it weren't really panning out for them week in, week out in terms of lower of averages, other teams smashing them and things like that. So I always look at the teams that haven't quite managed to do it. And I think we'd probably end up like a Wickham. If have a good few seasons, that would be it really. And obviously it's what's the word?
Is it more that you've got a small but loyal fan base?
Exactly.
It would never grow because you're surrounded by City, United, even bigger teams such as, your Blackburns, that kind of stuff in that area. You're always going to have limitations based on the size that you are, or the size of the fan base you've got, if that makes sense. It's an interesting argument or discussion because it's more, I look at an Everton, for example, we've got fans, all around the world and whatever else, and I do think that's something that will always keep us again, Sunderland is probably the example that I'd hate for us to follow, where they've got such a big following, but it dropped down to League One and the tendencies just dropped completely. I always stick with Everton, no matter what league we were in, we would still be getting 30 plus a week, a bit like Leeds. Leeds were getting big attendances in League One in the Championship. I wonder, just because of the size of the community that you're in. Tranmere again is a tough one because they're surrounded by Liverpool and Everton, but the Wirral, I agree, is such a huge area, and I think if it's done right, they definitely can get that following back into that club. And I think it would include the likes of myself, who would go as an Everton fan, but still supporting Tranmere. But weird if we got the Premier League, because I'd be trained to have a Premier League club on my doorstep as such. But yeah, it's Rochdale. I think I would always put in that thing of just a bit like when Burnley have been in the Premier League, or smaller clubs that come up, of always, what's the word I'm after? Not fighting above. The idea,
possibly.
Yeah, I suppose, or the idea that punch above their weight.
Punch above their weight.
Yeah,
it's the best way I can always put it.
Go on, Greg.
It's very simple. I can sort of understand where Deck's coming from in terms of, obviously, Tranmere are a bigger club than we are, and they probably always have been. But they can probably attract more fans than we can, so I can see how Tranmere could do it, or it could be done given the right project, given the right. You've got the Palios, everybody like that behind it. Whereas I'm not too sure if it'd be possible with Rochdale. I think at a push, the Championship would probably, and that's really saying something. And under when we had like Keith Hill, we were a bit of a unknown quantity when we first got into League One, and we were absolutely beating everybody at one point. We did the double over Southampton that were in our league, and that were Cloud Nine stuff. And I think I remember at one point, because in terms of history, Oldham have always been above us in terms of league positions and things like that. Our ambition was to just beat Oldham, and that would be a successful season. Staying up and beating Oldham is a successful season.
In life?
Well, yeah. But like when you look at it like
that,
that hard. Absolutely. But back then, when 2010, whatever it were, that was like Cloud9 stuff beating Oldham because they'd always been above us. And it's a bit of a difference with Bury because they've always somewhat been around us. Whereas Oldham, we were a different kettle of fish. They weren't really. But I think at a push, I think we'd do a Wickham. I think we'd go up to the Championship and struggle and just drop back down again. I can't see any other route that it would be. It'd be a good year. Well, it wouldn't because we'd be getting tated every week. But the away games
you'd still be in a situation
you know?
where, say you'd be playing teams of bigger clubs and going to those big stadiums for teams.
Yeah.
I think you enjoy it regardless of the results. You still enjoy the away days, absolutely. Go on, Jim.
Go for it, Jim.
Got a question for Dak before we carry on previewing the season. Bit of a controversial one, which I'm sure is a conversation you've had before. Do you think Tranmere Rovers are held back by the name of the club?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think Tranmere is an area. Obviously, it's all through the shipbuilding, camel heads, and so on in terms of the heritage of the club. And I think for a lot of fans, and this again goes back to some of the issues around the stadium move, they're arguing then that Tranmere would not be in Tranmere, rather than the club potentially being named to represent the Wirral or Birkenhead, that it represents, as you're alluding to, a very small kind of conurbation within the Wirral. So, yeah, it is tricky, and I think sort of going back to some of the points that you've made there about, obviously the Wirral is a bigger area, and the number of people and stuff there, but in order for us to be successful, I think there's that little bit of pride that needs to be swallowed in a way. Exactly what you were saying, Matt, in terms of the likes of yourself, Jimmy, and so on, whose first team has always been and will always be Everton, and accepting that in order for us to get to that level, we would need fans like yourself, whereby we may not potentially be your number one side. You'll always look out for us and so on. And I think the true Tranmere fans haven't got an issue with that. The issue that a lot of Tranmere fans have is whereby not people who live in Liverpool, because obviously their local side is either Liverpool or Everton, absolutely fine, but people who live on the Wirral, who back a Premiership side, whether it be Liverpool, Everton, City, United, whoever, but then actively dislike Rovers or will badmouth Rovers, which to me makes no sense. But going back just obviously to your original point, Jimmy, yeah, I think in a way it possibly does. The name doesn't represent... It represents the Wirral in terms of its values and its ethos, but in terms of the name, I think it's very kind of restricting. But I would be completely against a change of name if that was the next question.
I agree. No, I agree.
We've always been and always will be, you know?
I would never want to change the club's name now because it's the history since 1884, and it's never bothered me. I go and watch Rovers more than I watch Everton because one, it's cheaper, two, it's closer, and I get to see you, mate, don't I? And all that, and we have a good laugh.
Worth £22, aren't I, Jimmy?
22. Is it gone to 22?
£22 for 90 minutes to me. It's not a bad price.
22 quid. I'm 17.
I'm
not
coming back this season. It was 19 last time. I'm not going back now.
Sure, it's 22.
I'm going to go and watch Asheville and the North West Counties.
If I'm paying £4 for a season card wallet, you can afford the extra couple of quid on the date, mate.
I'm going to say the extra couple of quid on you then, Deg.
It's the extra prices, mate. I can't.
Greg, if he wants to tip me, I'm open to that.
Oh.
In fairness, though, Jim.
Financially, obviously.
I'm going to say,
how can you turn that
sentence? The Wirral burgers are something
else. See, the buns are now optional.
When I went,
they're called Wirral burgers. They're not called Tranmere burgers. They're called Wirral burgers.
Exactly. Exactly, Deck.
But I think in terms of appealing to like the wider 330,000 people on the Wirral, and and obviously with the whole idea of then if you were called Wirral Wanderers or Wirral Rovers or Wirral FC, you could relocate literally anywhere on the peninsula. There's plenty of
Wirral
space,
Wankers. We all know it'd happen.
Wirral Wankers.
Let's not shy away from that. That would happen.
We would be Wirral Wankers. We are. Yeah, indeed. We're all rubbish. Yeah.
But is it the case that if they were to move, because where was
the name?
But where was the plan? Was it Bidston? No,
Bidston.
They were planning on moving. It was Bidston, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Bidston,
is it one of the situations where everyone would just know it as Tranmere anyway because
I think
it really matter in the grand scheme of things? It's like, I don't know.
Let's be fair, Bolton Wanderers in Horwich. They're not in Bolton.
That's what I mean. It's at the point where the club has been around for so long. It wouldn't. It's not as if you move into St Helens, somewhere. It's not he's down the
exactly.
Liverpool.
It's
basically down the road.
Yeah, it's still well within reach of Birkenhead.
NFL.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
It's not like the Oakland Raiders going to Las Vegas, is it? It's not like...
Exactly. It's not quite the same level. So I think is it more a case of some people need to not swallow the pride, but just accept the fact that you're not going to have it in the centre of Birkenhead in the future because there just isn't space for it. That's just the fortunate nature of where it is. They can't build out. Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a tough one. It was more a case of...
Just because it's not a 2-minute walk on the road doesn't mean you can't go. But yeah, no, I was just curious, obviously, in terms of... And I liken, obviously, Rochdale to that extent with it being a small town. But then, obviously, it's different. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily... The name of the club necessarily hinder it in terms of its catchment area. It's an interesting study to go to, really, to think about, really. But then again, look at Everton. It's a small parish in Liverpool, and yet...
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. So that plays that argument out the bloody water. Anyway... Any more thoughts on the new season, gents? Anything at all?
Point I was going to make before we went on a tangent. The stat I saw the other day was very, very strange. Was that Kevin De Bruyne is the only player left in the Man City squad from when Pep Guardiola joined. Yes. I couldn't quite believe that when I read it, and I looked at the squad he had when he joined, and God, it wasn't a poor side by any stretch, but God, it's changed dramatically in what we are now 5 years. After they've signed, obviously, now Haaland, and they're selling. I mean, Sterling was a weird one when I saw he was going. I'll be honest. And there's talks of them selling Bernardo Silva as well, which is
to potentially Barcelona again, where Barcelona gets money from. Yeah, I don't see where Sterling fits in at Chelsea.
No, neither do I.
Considering Chelsea's history with Sterling, certain sections of supporters anyway, he has to hit the ground running.
Yeah, that's quite funny.
Or it's going to get nasty. Sadly, I hate to say that.
Well, you assume he's going to start on that left-hand side where they've had Pulisic for the last couple of years, who hasn't particularly lit up the Premier League in the way they envisioned. But yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, again, looking at the City players moving to other clubs, Arsenal have signed Jesus and have signed Zinchenko.
Have they actually signed Zinchenko now?
I think today it's all been pretty much agreed. And there's this weird thing where Arsenal fans are delighted about it because they've signed two good quality players, and Arsenal are having, in my eyes, a really good window on the face of it. But then it'd be very Arsenal to sign all these players and it all fall apart by Christmas. Which, has anyone seen the first trailer for All or Nothing? The Arsenal one?
Not yet, no.
It's Twitter, it's great. They had the moment where they strip Aubameyang of captaincy, and it looks hilarious. I can't wait to watch it. Because it's Arsenal, mainly. And I'm hoping they put in when we beat them at Goodison in the last minute. And the fallout from that, because it does look quite funny. But yeah, it's quite an intriguing prospect, Arsenal, because if Jesus does, I like Arteta. I think what he does is really, really good. I like him as a manager. He's got, apparently, he's very obviously cut from the same cloth as Guardiola. And they've got an intriguing transfer window this summer. They're buying, seemingly, a lot of cast-offs, but cast-offs who I think are decent players. They're basically doing what I would do on Football Manager at about season 3, when the likes of City and all these players start transfer listing their players, and you go, oh, there's a bloody good player for like 20 million, etc., and just buying other clubs' cast-offs and seeing what happens. But yeah, thoughts on Arsenal?
I think they'll finish top 4 Arsenal this year. I think Jesus is what they need up front, and he will bag about 20 goals a season, I think. With the youth behind Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka, the only issue for me with Arsenal is their defence lets them down. But Zinchenko can maybe shore that up either from midfield or from left back. I like them. I like Ramsdale as a keeper. He's got the odd mistake in him, but then don't they all? The only thing, again, the defence or injuries could put Arsenal to the sword, but I think Arsenal got the ability to come top 4 this season. I genuinely do. I think you look at Chelsea being up in the air with the new ownership and seemingly lacking that centre forward now. Lukaku's gone back to Inter. You're looking at United being United. Christ knows what's going to happen there. I think Arsenal and Tottenham battling out for 3rd and 4th this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, with the two London clubs battling it out for that last kind of big hitter spot. And I think to be fair, more so Arsenal, because Tottenham have arguably had some success in recent seasons in terms of Champions League final appearances, finishing in that top 4 bracket and so on. But certainly for Arsenal, they've not had that for a good few. They've not become the laughingstock of the Premiership, but they've certainly been that kind of, well, they're a big side, but they're not going to do anything, and that's almost become a bit of a stigma over the last few years. Yeah. So I think they've kind of had to go hard or go home this year in terms of recruitment, to really kind of reinstate themselves, because they could so easily, obviously, they're not going to get relegated, but once you start to fall away from that bracket, recruitment then becomes increasingly more difficult. And then that's when you start looking at your finances in terms of, right, well, we're not a top 4 club, but in order to attract player X, we're going to have to offer them twice the wage compared to a City or a Liverpool or a whatever. So it'll be an interesting one with Arsenal. I agree if their attack, I mean, football's a simple game, isn't it? Straw more than you can see, but you're absolutely right in terms of their attack looks very promising. Defence, could go either way, but if they get it right, I think they will be pushing and challenging up there. And it'll be, for me, as a kind of, I'll dip in and out of the Prem, but it'll be nice to see someone else in and around that top bracket. And in particular, if it is between them and Tottenham battling it out, obviously Chelsea will probably be up there, City and Liverpool obviously as well. And it'll be nice to see kind of a bit of a rivalry reignite as well. Obviously, they don't get on anyway, but when there's actually something to play for rather than, Arsenal being in and around mid-table. So yeah, as a neutral, I'm quite looking forward to that.
Yeah. And I think what largely gets overlooked with Arsenal's season as well is I don't see what stops them in the Europa League. Really, unless a big side drops down in the Champions League. I'm looking at the current Europa. I mean, Roma maybe under Mourinho. United, if they come good. I don't see who else currently is in the Europa League that's going to stop Arsenal from going really far and potentially winning it. And that obviously, gets you a Champions League berth. So that'd be a trophy for them. So, that's been largely overlooked so far. But I suppose the competition hasn't started in earnest yet, really, in the group stage. But I fancy them for that.
Are we going to do predictions? Are we going to put ourselves out there this early on?
I think we should. You can't do a season preview and not predict something.
You can't not do predictions, can you, really?
Even if we just predict one daft thing that we think is going to happen this season, or just one thing that's going to happen this season. It doesn't have to be who wins, whatever. It could be first manager to be sacked. It could be,
Anything you want. I'll start with I'll go with predictions. I will do some actual predictions. I think City are going to win the league. It'll be tight again, but I think City are going to win the league. I would have my top 4 be City, Liverpool. I would then go Chelsea, and I think Spurs will get in again. And I think United finish 5th. Because I think United would have a better season under Ten Hag. Mainly because they got rid of a lot of deadwood, and I think they've bought pretty well so far. Eriksen's a good buy. Eriksen fits into any team and will always improve it. If they can get Frankie de Jong over the line, I think that's a really good signing as well. I'm not going to bother doing the 6 down because it's just chaos anyway. I think to go down, I would have Bournemouth. I think Leeds might go, depending on if they can't fire. It's a bit of a bold call. And at the moment, if I'm honest, I'm going to back Everton to go down. Again, that's with 2.5 weeks to go before the start of the season. I could be saying this very, very differently this time next month. But I think based on what happened last season, there's not been much change. We've lost arguably our best outfield player and haven't replaced him at the moment. Unless that squad gels out of nowhere, I don't see, especially away from home, where any points come from. And that's my quite sad but honest call at the moment. I think we're a beatable side at the moment. And that's the issue I've got.
Yeah, I'd argue us, Southampton and Bournemouth to go. I think Leeds, I don't want to tip them to go down because, like I said earlier, I've no idea what the fuck they're going to do this season. They could go down with 9 points. They could win the bloody league. Not a clue. But I think we are, at the moment, one of the 3 worst sides of the division. But I hope that doesn't ring true come May.
Yeah.
I've got an idea of what we could do. So Matt's Matt's done that as a somewhat of a prediction. When we go round, we'll do it in terms of I have to predict something else that isn't exactly the Premier League winner, so we don't all carbon copy each other. So, for instance,
I have to change it. Bold goal.
So I personally, I think my prediction is I think Southampton are going to get relegated from the Premier League. I think Blackburn Rovers are going to get promoted. I think they're going to get back up there. And my third prediction, I'm going to go for Rochdale in the top half.
Push the boat out, Greg. Push the boat out.
Oh, yes.
No. It's going to be a stellar season up at Scotland.
Hopefully.
Get your season tickets
I
now.
really hope.
It's the league.
At least the case
top
comes
half
in
of
is
the
free at
bottom
Scotland.
of the league. Anyway.
Top half of the relegation zone. 23rd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
23rd.
That's my 3 predictions.
Right. Beck, what do you reckon, mate? Anything? Gonna stick your neck
Right,
out?
I'm going to go. Now, it's not a copy of one of Matt's answers. I'm going to go more specific. City to win the league by 7 points or more. I'm going to go with Championship. I'm going to say Watford to win the league. I don't think anyone said that on the prediction round. We have earlier on. And I'm going to go with Tranmere will finish the season on a prime number of points. There you go.
That's very
random.
Fair enough.
If anyone wants to write in with the actual possibilities that Tranmere could
I'm going to say,
finish on, I think some of them are quite low, which is worrying.
I'd say quite low.
I don't think there's many beyond about 50, so that's quite alarming.
There's not a lot. I'm also going to throw, just on par with that, Notts Forest to win the conference. Slightly more feasible. Sorry, Notts County. Sorry, apologies. I've got it written down in front of me. I can't even read my own notes. Notts County to win the conference. Not Wrexham.
I think
Wrexham. I don't think Wrexham will go up. I think it'll be Chesterfield.
I think they will.
Here's the hope and not. I want to see Ryan Reynolds try again.
Okay. I didn't
realise they're doing a documentary on Wrexham, have they?
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's on.
Brilliant.
Is it on Fox? Is it not Fox? What's it on?
I think so.
I saw a trailer for it this afternoon, randomly. I didn't realise they'd done a full documentary on it.
And what will be even better is we know that it ends badly. We know that it'll end badly, which is great. I wonder what will happen with the last episode. It all went tits up.
Jim's
the offside goal.
I would 5-6 to see that result. Right. Seeing as we're all going to do something a bit different, I'm going to go a bit mad. I don't really give a shit. I think Tottenham win in the league.
Yeah,
now,
kick him off the corner.
That's not as mad as it sounds. I think Tottenham will go in the league, and I think that... No. I think Son and Kane are going to finish 1 and 2 top goal scorers in the league.
That's less stupid, but the first one's pretty stupid.
Along with Spurs winning the league, because those two are just going to carry Tottenham to the title, because Conte is just going to make them run forever. And they're going to have insane fitness levels. And Richarlison shithousery, he's going to dive everywhere and win penalties everywhere.
When you say league...
it's going to be clever play now. League Cup.
Even about the League Cup?
No, the league. I think Tottenham win the league. Genuinely. Even Perisic will be one of the signs of the season. Even Perisic will be one of the signs of the season. At 43, whatever he is. No. Championship. Oh, don't make me predict this league. It's too hard. Right. I reckon... I think, alluding to what Dex earlier, I think Swansea will finish in the top 6. Not saying they'll go up, but I think they'll finish top 6, Swansea. And I also predict Coventry to finish in the top 6. I think they did a really good season last season under Mark Robbins, and I think they're just building back up. I'm not saying Avril will go up. League One. Oh, Joey Barton and Scott Brown's both got arrested in their match. Definitely. It's happening. They're both going to end
That's
up on
coming in at
leave.
evens on Bet365.
Or the betting sites are available. Please gamble responsibly.
You'll lose money if you put a bet on that.
Yeah. If you put a $5 on that, you lose a $5.
Lose more on that than the two of them are losing legal fees.
Yeah. Or teeth. Right. League 2. What's my wild ass prediction for League 2? I have no clue. Oh yeah, why not? Stevenage top 3. And Steve Evans to run round topless after promotion.
No, well, that was all believable until you said Steve Evans and run in the same sentence.
Run, yeah.
And you've lost me there.
Hey, did you see? We all seen him run down the touchline at Wembley in the playoff final, haven't we? He puts a sprint up when he gets moving.
I always wondered how they got the the patterns on the pitch. They just
roll in.
Yeah.
It's a very flat surface. Yeah, we've got Steve Evans down. Again, we do not fat shame on the Only a Game podcast.
No, it's just as alternative employment opportunities.
We just Steve Evans shame, that's all.
Yeah. Say what you see. Like catchphrase. Say what you see.
My prediction for the National League is a bit of an odd one. It is for Dorking Wanderers to stay up. Now, if you don't know much about Dorking Wanderers, go and do some research. They were founded, I think, in 1999 by a fella who is now chairman and manager of the club. And he's taken them from like the regional divisions, by talking like Sunday League basically, all the way to the National League. They won the National League South playoffs last season, beating, I think, Ebbsfleet in the final. They've now got Adam Mekki on the books that Greg Deck will know, former Tranmere player and Bromley.
Murky.
Yeah,
literally did nothing but a flashy winger in our first year.
It was good for the faux Messi chance.
A good-looking lad. He had that going for him.
Your classic non-league footballer, good-looking player, all the skills, couldn't actually play football. And I think Dorking will survive. They'll come above the bottom four, which, considering they are part-time, they've come from literally nowhere the last few years. Again, all of you, I implore you, if you don't know already, to go and research the story of Dorking Wanderers. It is a fantastic story. It really is. And I think I'm hoping that they can stay up, or even better, and really kick on in the National League this season. It's not about your Hollywood, your Wrexhams, or your Notts Counties. It's about your club formed about 20 odd years ago with a big chicken on the badge. It's brilliant. What a story. I don't even know what Dorking is, but I'm rooting for you, Dorking.
Why don't we keep tabs of them this season just to see how they get on?
I think we should become the official podcast of... I'm sure there is an official podcast, Dorking. But we should be officially christened. The Only a Game team will be Dorking Wanderers. Yeah.
Fair dues.
I think so. If anyone makes any objections to that.
No,
can I throw in some random predictions anyway?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, my 3 are Dominic Calvert-Lewin is going to outscore Darwin Núñez in the Premier League.
In a skirt.
I think... Which one? I think a Championship club will get to the final of the Carabao Cup. And I am going to go for... What am I going to go for from the last one? I'm trying to think lower leagues, but I'm struggling a little bit. Again, I know, Deck, you mentioned this earlier, so I'm going to steal yours somewhat. I think Bolton are going to win the... they're going to go up with winning the league. That in better English.
League One.
Yeah.
Did you forget which division they were in for a second then?
Potentially, it might have done. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, League One. They're going to win League One.
To be fair, it is Bolton.
Just for Thogden. Thogden and Thogdad.
Oh, don't even get me started
on that. Like promotion.
Brilliant, isn't it? I like it.
He's iconic. Don't be dissing Thogdad.
His dad I can stand, but he just I don't know.
The lad.
He seems a bit self-entitled, doesn't he? But yeah, his dad's sound. Don't mind his dad.
Dad's sound. No, should the dad.
Yeah.
Can we get Thogdad on? Not the son. Can we get Thogdad on?
Oh yeah.
Why not?
We can afford him. Speaking of which, in terms of future episodes, I know, Greg, you're wanting to go on to top 5 in a minute to probably try and finish us off. Just in terms of listeners, if anyone's got any suggestions for kind of themes of episodes, we could do one on, kits, boots, best round, worst round, pubes. Yeah, we could.
It always reminds me of that picture of Paul Scholes. If I wouldn't Google this picture.
Which one?
It appeared. There's a picture of not the one. Not the one of him meeting his daughter's toe.
I thought the one sucking his daughter's toe.
Yeah, no, that one. If anything, that's better than this one, which is a lot to say. You know, I thought I'd say this. There's one where he's going in for a tackle, and let's just say that's not the only tackle that appears.
Tackle. Oh, speaking of tackle, anyone remember on Twitter Robert Hoof? Oh wow.
Deck, you pulled it up a little too quick. No, that appeared on your phone a little too quickly to my liking.
He's got wallpaper on his phone.
He's got Scholes' left testicle as a screensaver.
I'm concerned how fast that appeared on my screen.
That was rapid. That's not the first time you've Googled that, is it, mate?
I mentioned the word Paul Scholes tackle.
Straight on my
15
favourites.
15 seconds later.
Jesus Christ.
I've got fast Wi-Fi, what can I say?
I noticed.
Bullshit. Go on the theme of tackle. Robert Hoof on Twitter playing the game Cock or No Cock.
Forgot about that. While he was still at, was it Stoke? He was still
at Stoke or Leicester.
Oh no, Leicester wasn't it? Stoke or Leicester, one of the two, wasn't it?
He was posting.
And he got sold off by the Premier League. Told him off.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
He was posting. Have you not remember this?
Have you not seen it? It's iconic. It's brilliant.
It's hilarious.
It was basically a Twitter page that was literally called Cock or No Cock. And the idea was they would post photographs of women, and the game was you had to guess whether it was a dick or not.
Yes.
Robert Hoof,
I've seen it.
Fully involved in it.
Not because of Robert Hoof.
No, I know you're on about now.
Yeah, not Robert Hoof.
I know you're on about.
Just Googled it. Yeah, iconic. Between that, I mean, there's definitely a footballer's famous tweets we could do, a section we could do, because Wayne Rooney, when he first joined Twitter, was the best. Wazaroo.
Jesus.
The fact he called himself a Wazaroo is the funniest thing. The fact that clearly, this is all before the player must have had social media teams or whatever else, and he's gone, "Hey, Wazar, get on Twitter." There you go. And he's gone, "What should we call myself?" Wazaroo 8, I think he put himself as. Before someone must have gone, put yourself as your actual name. Wayne. Iconic.
It's amazing. I wouldn't mind if
who was it when
it wasn't like he was 18.
Who was it with them? Was it when Dana Ross passed? Not Dana Ross. Or was it who was it who passed away?
Was it Whitney Houston?
Oh, was it? And he put
R.I.P. Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston. That was it.
You're gone. I really want to run to you.
Word. Oh no!
It's all there. It's all on social. It's all.
We
there.
could do a whole episode on Michael Owen cock-ups as well. But yeah, going back to the original point, if any listeners have got any suggestions, we've potentially got a couple of ex-footballers, whatnot, possibly coming on. But any suggestions of episodes? Obviously, we'll do our normal ones through the season, but any kind of specials or whatever, do ping them our way.
As well. Yeah, thank you as well to those who posted questions so far. We will get round to answering some. I know I've suggested some ideas as well, some football related, some not football related, but it's all part of the games. We will get around to doing questions as well. So please submit your stories, your questions, your ideas, anything at all to make this podcast better. Okay, probably not talking about fallacies would be a good start.
We've set the bar quite low, haven't we?
We've given you a low bar.
Very low, in fact. A bit too low.
We've got a question from one of the listeners. So basically, it's Lance. One of the lads, Lance, is he wants to know who our predictions for Player of the Season from our individual clubs might be. So, Matt, Everton, Jimmy, who do you think might? And obviously, Deck with Tranmere.
Right, I'm going to jump in first because there's only one player who's going to get it for Everton. Everton's will be Jordan Pickford.
Oh no!
Let's face it, he's going to have to save a lot of goals.
He really is. No. Sorry.
I think Anthony Gordon.
Oh, good call. Fair play. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm happy to not agree as such, but I'm happy to have a challenge on that. I think Pickford
go either or.
Pickford
or Gordon. Yeah.
Take your pick.
Good.
Go on, Dev.
I'm going to go. There's one fairly obvious one
signed them yet?
Sticking out to me. No. We've not signed very many players at all, have we, Matt? I think the mascot's starting the first game.
Actually, I hate to announce it now, but I think I'm starting first game of the season, actually.
Works for me, Jimmy.
Works
for me.
Yeah.
Centre half.
Paying to get in.
He's not going to be paid, though. He's just going to be given a few season ticket card wallets for his friends. That's his wage. It'd probably equate to about the same anyway.
More than I'm on now, yeah.
I'm going to make 2 predictions for Player of the Season. One fairly obvious at the minute in terms of how he's looked pre-season, and obviously towards the back end of last season. Kane Hemmings, for me, I think is set to have a very good season for us. Obviously, Elliot Nevitt cleared up at the Player of the Season awards, but I think that was... Obviously, his performances were great, but I think it was also that whole, backstory behind his season and going from kind of the amateur game into the pro game. And rightly so, he deserved everything that he got. But I think this season, Kane Hemmings could really push on. I'm expecting a big season from him. Also, Ethan Bristow, who I believe is I know, again, we haven't signed a lot of players, but for me, he's probably our most exciting player that we've signed so far. And I think we've alluded to playing three centre-backs and then wing-backs. And I think him on the left and Dakers Togley on the right, both rapid players. And I think going forward, if they can get some decent service into the box, Hemmings and Nevitt will store a lot of goals. But there's a lot of pressure riding on them. It only takes an injury to muck the system up. But yeah, they're my two. Ethan Bristow in terms of possibly fans player of the year, maybe in terms of just performance, and Hemmings hopefully for his contribution in front of goal.
And Deck, we can all guess yours. It's fine.
Do you mean me? Sorry.
Yeah, Greg even, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to go for Hendo. No, I'm not going to go for Hendo.
You didn't have Hendo?
No,
you're a real fan.
So we've signed a experienced midfielder from Morecambe called, I hope I can pronounce this correctly, I'm sorry if I haven't, Tumani
Diagaroaga, is it?
That's his name, sorry.
Diagaroaga.
And I've had, yes, so he's the type of player that we really need. We need that sort of midfielder that's sort of experienced and can get the tackles in and things like that. So I'm either going to go for him or Luke Charman. I think Luke Charman's going to kick on. He scored a few goals at the back end of the season. Obviously, we signed him from Darlington. He did score a few, but I think he's got that sort of first few months under his belt, and hopefully it's going to be one of those two, I hope. I think Hendo will have a good season. I think if we can just chuck him on for 20 minutes or the odd game, and he'll probably get about 8 goals, or at least. He's quite clinical, doesn't need much, in terms of delivery or anything like that. He can always come back for the ball and come back in and score. So I think Hendra will score a few, but it's difficult to say, isn't it? This is the whole point of these predictions and guesses and things like that. You don't know until you start kicking the ball, really, but that's what I'll go for.
The whole point of this is to make us look stupid by the end of the season, but like Christmas.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I personally, I mean, I've made this joke before, but I'll make it again because it's brilliant. I hope Luke Charman does really, really well, just for the David Bowie chance. Anyone? No? Okay. He wears number 9 as well, so he works in...
I got it. He's a Charman wearing number 9.
Wearing number 9. Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, that,
I got it.
A Brighton chance for you now.
We weren't on mute there, Jimmy, just none of us laughed.
Yeah.
I couldn't unmute myself quick enough.
Go get your pair of shorts.
It's not that I didn't like it.
So you really
oh, no, wait.
like
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Heads up there, Diego Raga is 35. So I don't know how many games he's going to have in the
peak
season.
of his career.
Between
that and Henderson, Christ.
I mean, I do remember him from playing for like Leeds and going way back, like Peterborough, and he played for Hereford United, which shows how long ago he's been playing, because Hereford United haven't been around for a good few years. But no, I mean, I do rate him as a good League 1, League 2 midfielder whenever I've seen him, which admittedly is rare. But no, all good. So Greg, I believe you've got your, was it Quiz 5 thing that went really well last time?
I certainly have.
5 thing.
So I've got one that is football related, and the other one isn't football related, just to shake it up a little bit. And make... No, it isn't. Would you believe? So, do you want the football related one or the non-football related one first?
Should we do non first and then the football?
Right.
Since we are football.
Yeah. So I've gone a little bit outside the box with this one, but you all will know of this. So, Simpsons characters, by the number of words spoken, so script, words, Simpsons characters that have had the most words on television.
Get out.
Hang on. Can I ask a question first?
What?
Can I ask a question first, Greg? Did you plan this question with our esteemed guest that is not here, John Warburton, in mind?
Yes,
which is why you was quite frustrated when he pulled out. We hope you are doing a good job tonight, mate, because I know you are busy down in that London with you working in gigs and that. But you see, you could have been answering Simpsons questions if you turned up, but hey, instead you're getting paid to work in London on a gig somewhere. So
the most words spoken in The Simpsons, if you will. So top Maggie. 5. Right, so Matt is going for Maggie. Let me write that down.
Fucking hell. that's good. Probably, yeah.
Is that the answer you want, Matt? You can change your mind. You can change your mind.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Jimmy, what do you want?
I'm not going to go obvious, which we know what obvious is. I'm going to go Chief Wiggum.
Right, okay.
Homer for me. It's got to be Homer.
Boo.
I've done obvious.
So,
very obvious.
So number one is Homer Simpson. So that's 1 point to Deck. Number 2 is Marge. So that's 2 points. No one's got Marge.
Down if fucking Maggie's in the top 5, I'll be fuming. I'll be fucking fuming.
3 for 3 points is Bart.
Yeah.
4 points is Lisa. And 5 is Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns. Of course,
yeah.
Mr. Burns.
So Deck has 1 point.
Release the hounds.
Exactly, yes. So, now...
I cannot believe Maggie wasn't in there.
Maggie was to take your first...
What are the odds?
Take your first one. So, football question. This is what we think we might know.
No.
The top 5 German goal scorers in the history of the Premier League.
German goal scorers.
Yes.
German goal scorers.
German.
Okay.
So Jimmy, go first.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
So the top 5
is it because you cut
German goal scorers?
I can think of some,
Right.
but they're probably not in the top 5
I'm
goal
going to go
scorers.
with... Now, this is going to be a bit mad, actually. Andre Schürrle.
Let me just jot it down. Okay. Whoever wants to go next.
Just check my guess actually is German.
It's not Michael Owen. I'll go Ozil, please, Greg.
Rightio.
Ooh, good shout.
Just going to jot that down. And then we don't
Yes, he was.
The first German that came to mind. I'll be honest.
Okay, Matt.
More of an assist maker.
I'm going to go Lucas Podolski.
Ooh, that's a good shout as well.
I had to check he was German.
He
He
was
born
in Poland. He was born in Poland, wasn't he?
Exactly.
German.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was your answer, Matt?
Lucas Podolski.
That is the highest goal scorer in the World Cup ever, Lucas Podolski, who Matt didn't know was German.
So
obviously that's close. No, he's not close.
Oh, closer.
Oh, well, how the tables have turned.
Okay, so the answers.
As well, close. Anyway, yeah.
So the answers: all-time Premier League German goal scorers. The top German goal scorer is Ilkay Gundogan. That's 1
really?
point. Yes,
That's low.
I'm going to guess, Greg, is Klinsmann in there?
He is, yeah.
I think he is. He is Klinsmann in there. I'm going to say my second guess was going to be Jurgen Klinsmann.
Obviously, Gundogan would be 1 point. Number 2 is Deck, Mesut Ozil. So Deck's got 2 points. Number 3, Jurgen Klinsmann. So that would have been 3 points. Number 4.
It's crawling his dog.
Klinsmann was 3 points.
Right.
4 points would have been Uwe Rosler.
Oh my god.
Uwe Rosler?
And 5 is Leroy Sané.
Leroy Sané? Really?
Yeah. That's what I've got here.
Playing?
That's what I've got here.
Fair enough.
Haven't got the top 10 by chance, do you, Greg?
No, I haven't.
Shut the rest.
Sorry.
I bet Shell's not even in the top 10, is he?
Let's have a look.
German.
City.
Teddy Sheringham must be up
Man
there.
City.
Isn't Wayne Hennessy up there?
Oh, it's really annoying. Snow is 6th. I was actually going to guess him.
Go on then.
Robert Huth.
Of course, yeah.
I was genuinely going to guess Robert Huth. I got the 7th. I got Podolski's 7. Michael Ballack is 8th.
Wow.
Pascal Gross is 9th. And then Jim Andre Schürrle is 10th.
Oh, I'm going to say I was starting to
the saddest part of the whole that is Timo Werner's 17th.
Wow. Yeah, he's only one season to be fair.
That's true, fair enough. Other names that to point out that I would never have got. Shokran Mustafi is 19th. Christian Ziege is 11th.
Christian Ziege, my word.
Dietmar Hammann's 12th.
Oh, yeah,
Hitzelsberger's 16th. Yeah, 16th.
Hammer.
Marcus Babbel is 20th.
Wow.
Marcus Babbel, yeah.
And we get to the point where names I'm not even quite sure about. Freddie Bobic?
Freddie Bobic, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bobic, yeah.
Vitaly Janelt.
He plays for Brentford now, yeah. He literally
Maurizio Gardino?
No.
Never heard of
that one.
I want to say
Michael Tonas or Tone?
Yes, played for Man
Maurice
City.
Volts? God, about Maurice Volts.
Hey, Maurice Volts, scorer of, I think, the 2000th league goal ever.
You're right, there, randomly.
I think
he scored for Fulham. Or it was something like the 1500th or the 15th. One of them, it was a landmark goal. Maurice Volts scored. I remember it on Sky Sports News. I think
I remember that. Yeah.
League goal. I could be wrong.
It was a big thing one weekend.
Whoever got the first Premier League goal was going to get that certain milestone, and Maurice Volts scored it. And he never scored.
Maurice Volts.
Yeah.
I'm sure
so that's my... That's what we've got for the Fives questions.
So it was the... the Maurice Volts thing was the 15,000th Premier League goal in history.
That's the one.
In December 2006.
That's the one. I remember it now. I mean, I was close with 2,000, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
So, Deck wins. Deck wins this round.
I get the feeling I might have scuffed my chances with my first answer, but you know what? You live and learn.
I mean,
thank you very much.
If only I got Marge.
So,
yeah. You do indeed.
That'd be
good. You're winning.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, because you're winning.
I feel like we need a league table for this.
If I keep answering Andre Schürrle, then I'm not going to win it either, but...
No, I won't win it, mate.
Surely not.
Hey. But yes, we will do a league table. And indeed, we'll include guests.
Yes, 100%.
And whatnot.
But we should really do a guest one, shouldn't we? A guest.
Yeah, we really should do a guest table and a regulars table, because that would be a bit harsh.
Seems like a lot of admin. Greg, that's all yours.
Greg, yeah? No,
Spreadsheets.
Who works in spreadsheets? All of us.
Yeah.
In different ways. We do.
I just love a pie, to be honest.
Oh, God, yeah.
We do love a pie chart, don't we, Jimmy?
Glad I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Do you remember that staff meeting? No pie chart, no party.
Indeed. Yeah.
Anyway,
can't we?
Wrapping up.
Fantastic.
Like an early Christmas present.
Like I say, if you're still listening, congratulations.
Well done.
You've got more patience than we have. Well done. You deserve to be on our league table. Yeah, I don't do this myself anymore. It's ridiculous. Yeah. We zoned out around.
We stopped half an hour ago.
Anyway, didn't we all? Anyway, thank you all for listening for the first episode back as It's Only a Game. We look forward to doing this again soon, lads. So thank you very much. And again, next time we listen, it'll be August, and the season will have begun. So we'll hopefully have a bit more to talk about there. And come on, the England women as well for the Euros. We haven't really mentioned that tonight, have we? So come on, ladies.
Oh, it's 1-1. It's 1-1.
Oh,
oof,
come on, ladies.
1-1 with 5 minutes to go.
Bring it home, girls. Bring it home.
And remember, girls, if you don't win, it's only a game, innit?
It's only a game, indeed.
It is only a game.
How professional.
Thank you, Deck. Thank you.
He did the thing. Right. Anyway.
He said it.
Right. Bye for now, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Indeed. In a bizzle.
Sounded like bootlegger, though.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Sports Social Podcast Network.